Gimme trauma. It's time for more. Uncle Lloyd is back and there's tons of fun in store. Gimme trauma. It's indie films galore. So grab them up to the Toxitrot at Trauma on 24. Nothing beats a troll masterpiece in July. Watch the Toxic Avenger and return to Newcomb High. Catch the premiere of Curse of the Were-Deer. Then terror firmers, we play and poultry guys. We're going to the morning drive-in tonight. Come hang out with the Trauma team. Wish Toxic a happy birthday. Say hi to Sarah and celebrate 50 years of Trauma. Let's go! Gimme Trauma. It's time for more. Uncle Lloyd is back and there's tons of fun in store. Gimme trauma. It's indie films galore. So grab them up to the Toxitrot and Trauma on 24. Trauma on 24. It's Trauma on 24.
When I was like back in the mid 80s or late 80s, he's a huge fan of the movie Toxic Avenger, right? And so Toxic, they were going to make they made a remake of Toxic Avenger. However, recently, I think it was last week or something, they came up and they said that like it wasn't releasable. Like something happened, like it was so bad that something happened that they can't even release the damn film. And so they've canceled the remake. Like they made it, right? And the sad thing is, like, I mean, this is I've looked at the actual article and everything, so which Mr. Ages reviews is going to look at. And so I felt like it's such a you had a chance for 50 years of trauma celebration to bring out this this movie, right, to celebrate like one of their most favorite, most well-known characters. I mean, like had a TV show, had collectible cards and action figures. Like only like last month maybe I put up some videos, like little clips of like having found these art, these 80s friggin' Toxic action figures and playthings, like like a boat, toxic boat, whatever, nuclear powered boat thing. And I because if you guys know me, I collect anything to do with pop culture, right? And especially film and like behind me, which is covering this I searched for 2 weeks for this, and then I finally found it. It was fallen behind all the containers of comics by the Wi-Fi plug, right? And then so I was able to put this up, and that behind that is like and hundreds and hundreds of toys and figures and stuff like that. And so one of my friends, Shane Evans, like who actually designed these characters that way, right? I mean, I designed, but like he paint, that's his art. But then we had this, let me just pop that off there. We had this, this is his art. And then we had, when we were doing the convention, I got these materials and I asked like the Whangarei Girls High School art department, who were like volunteers for the convention, amazing kids, man, like seriously, high school kids, just, like they did so much work. I cannot appreciate, or say better things than like they were amazing, right? Because they were. And so they helped run our event. But one of the things was like, I said to them, hey, what do you guys reckon about, to the tutor, I say, you're going to do an art piece like to celebrate all your guys' achievements and help for, at the convention and stuff. And so they, I said, I'll bring you over a 2-meter canvas and you guys can, if you want, you can paint it. And she said, yeah, that sounds good. Oh, yeah, we'll do that. I said, cool. So they painted it. but themselves. But this is Shane's artwork and stuff. And it's quite large. It's actually, this is just like a 1/3 of the size beyond my thing. Maybe not, yeah, but maybe a 1/4. So, Shane, well, the reason I'm saying that is because Shane, who's who's a very close friend of mine, you know, he's into trauma, and he's a huge fan of Lloyd. He loves B movies and like Lloyd Kaufman from Trauma films and stuff. And so I said, hey, look, I got these, and he's like, oh yeah, okay. And I said, come over, So I said, these are yours. It's like they're really, these like pieces of work from history, like, I guess not history, but similar history, right? That kind of that thing. But I found like they're re-releasing them, and they could have had, like, with this film, if this film could have been, this film could have revitalized the whole new generation of people getting understanding what indie films, especially the indie horror scene, is about, and could have really done a really huge huge promotion for that scene, right? Because everywhere's like, the mainstream scenes all, it's just same old, like Saw 50,000, that sort of thing. And then here you've got like these guys here who just go out and like make just low budget films that, like, with a lot of heart. And not only that, but put a lot of effort in for the last 50 years, right? And Toxic Avenger was, one of my favorites from that studio, right? From those those guys, right? Trauma Films. And to think that, like, I don't even know why they had Peter Dinklage get involved with it. I really don't know why, because he's like a prima donna of like the little people. And if you've seen his whole thing, how he went out of his way to ruin the careers of even like the the possible mainstream careers of a lot of little people, right? Dwarfs, whatever you want to call them, right? But they call themselves little people, right? Because they're politically acceptable, right? So we'll go with little people. Now, so he didn't want like the whole Snow White to have 7 dwarfs. It's like, but that's the whole key of the story. There's 12 little people, right? Or 7 little people, but there could have been more of them, right? They could have got like side extra work, and they could have like become the new Peter Dinklage, right? But the problem with Peter is he's so up himself that he wants to be the only person, like the prima donna of that whole, all those smaller people, right? So cool. And it's just so sad to see someone who's got so much possibility of helping other people like him, and like putting a stop on that so that Snow White doesn't get made with with these other young small people, little people, being able to have the opportunities like he's had, because he gets all the little people role, right? So he gets a freaking whatever, but nobody else is allowed to. And it's like the whole idea, right? That how do you go out of your way to stomp on other people like you just so that you get all the money, you get all the promotions, you get to be seen as the what would you call, like, the messiah of the little people, yet you stomp on all the it's like almost like if you really think about it, it's like a dictator of that, of the little people. I know a couple locally as well, and it's like, how do you like do that to hold back other people? And this is something like, if you watch Oprah and stuff, and if you watch the Black entertainment community, they talk about this a lot, about Oprah and people similar in her like circles who hold down the Black community from getting better pay as actors and so on. So Nathaniel says here, I knew a guy who tried to use the fact that he was a background extra in a trauma movie to try and pick up chicks. Yeah, it's good. People tend to do that, right? It's like me going, oh, I create comics, like, yeah, it's like, so, unless you like this, unless you're like Ryan Reynolds, like, even, it's like, one of my favorite, I guess, two of my favorite actors, right, would be like male actors, is like Keanu Reeves, just the humblest dude ever, like just a normal bloke, like the kindest person that you can, anything time you hear about him, it's like the kindest stories about him, right? Just like the bloke, right? And then also the other one's Ryan Reynolds, who's like this whole, full on, like just straight up in your face, kind of like, but very kind of like, he's a jokester. And I think those two guys are, pretty cool. Now, let's have a look at this this thing about well, I carry on trying to get the form this, so I've got like a saucer now. Now I've got to get the other part of it. So let's watch this Mr. H reviews talk about the whole the whole cancellation thing. It's kind of like unreleasable, I should say. Like, I mean, how bad can it be that you can't even check it on a streaming site, or like
I work in movie product licensing. We're officially told as well regarding it. For those who aren't familiar with the original 1984 film, which is a cult following, it tells the story of a janitor who gets exposed to toxic waste, turning him into a deformed superhero, and he then goes on a mission for revenge. So Blair directed the 2017 Sundance winner I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore. I did a review of that. And Toxic Avenger in his sophomore follow-up. One has to wonder if we'll ever get to see the film. We probably won't. I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore is actually a pretty decent film. I reviewed it here on the channel. Nice little indie film. And it was pretty decent from Blair, to be fair. Like, good directing from that chap. And, Peter Dinklage was in that, so it makes sense as to why he got Peter Dinklage on board. He had a working relationship with him. Peter Dinklage doesn't exactly do a lot, does he? Because he's not very good. Again, despite that film being pretty decent, actually. So, yeah. But, yeah, Toxic Avenger, it's a no-go, it seems. Seems like it's a no-go. And you know what? What a shame. Because I'd have loved to have seen... what's his face? Bloody Elijah Wood. Look at this. Look at the absolute state of this. Elijah Wood, where is he? Get some images of this stuff. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Oh, they don't have the images here. Never mind. Here's the teaser trailer. Like, look at this. What is this? I mean, it's just in all ways terrible. Always terrible. I'm not going to play it. I can't be bothered. Like, not properly with noise and stuff like that. Just bloody atrocious. Why did you remake it?
It kind of feels like someone who made it who doesn't understand what made the movie appealing.
Let's have a look at the photos.
Right.
Here's some of it. Look. I mean, it's not.
It's like all over the place.
Yeah, it's not good. What is this? Oh, there we go. It's fucking, look at Elijah Wood.
Right, from Batman.
Oh my god! So this is never coming out. Not really a surprise, is it? I would have liked to have seen Elijah. My god!
But Dinklage just talked.
I would have liked to have seen Elijah Wood though.
Yeah.
This is Toxie in all of his glory with his mop.
Is it to make a film these days?
Anyway, there you go. There's not much else really to say, to be honest. But that's why.
Seriously, how hard is it for people to, like, these writers not to figure out how to write? Like, I mean, when before I went to film school, right, I was actually making short films for as part of my stage productions, right, and also just so that we could show these stories. And I'm like about 27 years old, and this is like 2000, right? So that's about 24 years ago. I'm doing short films then. I'm writing stage productions then, right? Feature length stage production, not little things. So something from like maybe like a 5-minute skit to like an hour long stage productions 20 years ago. And then using borrowing people's handy cams to edit, and then borrowing, one of my friends was an editor, and then I could use his workplace for free to edit these short films into actual well-edited films. Even before going to film school to learn how it all works, I already knew how to make it work because I'd spent decades just you know, because I love movies, and you know, it's been something that's been a passion of mine.